It's a poison chalice policy, capital gains tax. But this week, Labour leader Phil Goff confirmed rumours it would form the core of his party's economic policy heading into the November election.
Labour's plan is a bold one. It's a game changer.
Farms, shares, batches and second homes are all included. Labour says that's worth $26 billion over 15 years. New Zealand's never had a comprehensive capital gains tax, although the idea has been floated 8 times since 1967. The debate reignited again in the 1980s, but then Prime Minister David Lange dismissed the idea, saying it's the sort of thing you would put in place if you were sure you were going to lose the next election and be in opposition for the next 20 years. Labour stuck to Lange's motto 2 decades later when an OECD report recommended we introduce the tax. A spokeswoman for then Finance Minister Michael Cullen said, basically, it's political suicide in New Zealand. And until recently, Goff seemed to be following suit, saying at the start of the year a capital gains tax was not on the agenda.
We haven't considered that as part of our policy.
Fast forward 5 months and not only is the Labour leader proposing a capital gains tax, but he's also recommending raising the top tax rate to 39 cents. Exemptions to capital gains include farmhouses and sections, Christchurch properties for the next 5 years, small businesses owned long-term by those over 55, KiwiSaver payouts and niche collectibles. And Labour thinks the country is ready for the policy.
It is a plan whose time has come.
Labour says it'll rebalance the economy and level the tax playing field between property and investment. And there's plenty of support for the idea. 32 other developed nations have a capital gains tax. The IMF, OECD, New Zealand Treasury and Reserve Bank all support the idea, as do the Greens.
We've been making the argument for some years because there's an obvious economic rationality behind a capital gains tax.
But the government's condemning the proposal.
They won't raise a lot of revenue. They will be an absolutely fantastic windfall for accountants who will have lots and lots of work, but for the rest of the economy it'll be bad news.
It's the same stuff as they got thrown out for: tax and spend.
National says it's too complicated, would send property prices skyrocketing and would lock more New Zealanders out of buying their own homes. But the government's beginning to sound like a lone voice. This year again, the IMF and OECD recommended introducing the tax, with the OECD report saying that no capital gains distorted investment and meant we had a lower growth rate. So the question now is, can Labour sell the capital gains tax in time to secure an election win?